there in Pennsylvania. And Mike, it must be a tense feeling out there, just waiting for the verdict to come down.
Yeah, real feeling of anticipation, Susan. As we wait, jury continues to deliberate, and you mentioned it. They wanted a readback of testimony from Mike McQuarrie and Dr. Jonathan Dranoff. This surrounds victim number 2. Again, we didn't hear from victim number 2. It's Mike McQuarrie who says he's the eyewitness that saw Jerry Sandusky raping this young boy in the showers at Penn State 2001. Joining us to talk about it, defense attorney Jeff Gold. Welcome back.
Yes.
All right, well, when you look at McQuarrie and his story, do you see holes and inconsistencies where Joe Amendola can get that reasonable doubt that he's looking for?
Look, there are inconsistencies. He said one time it was 1 year, then a year later. But why do you think they read him back? I mean, that's the question that I have. Why did they want that read back? Did they want it a read back because they think that it's the key testimony, that he's the only eyewitness that's not a victim? So if you believe that the victims are all lying, then you look to McQuarrie and say, is he lying too? And if he's not, then he's an eyewitness to something happening. Or is this just not important to the prosecutor at all? Because really, there is no victim 2 here.
Right.
That victim was never found. So the jury may be saying, look, how do we know how old that victim 2 is? This McQuarrie says he saw a boy, but how do we know it's a boy? How do we even know they had intercourse? He saw slapping. We don't know that. So I think it may be fine for the prosecutor. The prosecutor could have decided not to indict for that and simply to try to put this evidence in as what is called prior bad acts, to have McQuarrie testify but not have an indictment about that victim. They chose to do it this way. They got his testimony in. I don't think this hurts him at all.
So you don't see it as the linchpin that Joe Amendola does, because he believes
right.
The whole case falls apart if McQuarrie's too inconsistent. You get a reasonable doubt there.
We'll know pretty soon if I'm right or wrong, but I don't see it that way. If I was the prosecutor, I wouldn't be too worried about this read back at all.
Okay. Let's talk about it as we continue on Verdict Watch. Obviously, the other big news, Matt Sandusky comes forward. Here's a guy, and again, these are allegations from Jerry Sandusky's adopted sons, who starts the trial sitting in as a supporter of his adopted dad. Here's victim 4 testify about a shower scene where Matt sees his adopted dad soaping up, and then Matt Sandusky gets nervous and gets out of there. After all of that, he's not seen in court again. With all that said, is Matt, and I know a lot of lawyers are looking at this, do you think he's within the statute of limitations? If Jerry Sandusky's acquitted in the court behind us, then you bring charges on Matt Sandusky at a later date?
Well, that's right. You've hit the nail on the head. I mean, I don't know the facts, the scuttlebutt around the courthouse is yes, that he's within the statute, which means that even if there was an acquittal here on all the counts, the Commonwealth could do an information just on Matt. There's other things that could happen as well, but you know, the interesting question is, why did he come forward? What was the thing that made him come forward at this particular time? You know, what did he hear in there that struck a chord with him? Was it the character witnesses that he said 17 witnesses says he's such a great guy? I don't think that. Was it listening to the testimony of the other victims which evoked, hey, that happened to me? Who knows?
That's a great point. Well, and I want you to clear up for everybody the legal side, because people think this, hear about this and go, wait a minute, why wasn't he in the trial to begin with? Right. First thing is, he didn't go to prosecutors until this week, right? So tell us legally why they couldn't get him in.
Well, first of all, there's rules of discovery, and the Commonwealth has to divulge to the defense all their witnesses in a witness list ahead of time so the defense can prepare. Now, we know that this case has proceeded at rocket speed to begin with. This judge would like this case over with very quickly. The defense had asked for more time. They didn't get the more time. So certainly it would have been crazy and reversible error for the judge to let a new charge come in at this stage. So the only way it would come in would be if Jerry Sandusky took the stand, and then the defense would ask, did you touch Matt in such and such a way? And Jerry would say no. They could bring on Matt as a rebuttal witness. That's how they planned to do it. But they couldn't have, stopped the case and restarted it unless there was a mistrial. I mean, so that's why it went that way.
Yeah, and from what we gathered, and again, it's all reporting here, but the prosecution basically, you bring Jerry to the stand, Matt is ready to go.
Well, that was apparently in the Chambers conference. Whether or not that was everything to the decision not to put Jerry on or not, I don't know. Personally, I don't think I would have put Jerry on anyway, the way he did with Bob Costas. This is a prosecutor now asking questions, not, softballs. So I don't think he was going to be put on anyway. But nevertheless, the talk is that the final coup de grace was the prosecutor had Matt, who had turned. And there was no choice at that point for the defense.
Last one, real quick. What's going on with the lawyers right now? You did your job, now you wait with the rest of us. But it's got to be different. I mean, you work so hard here on both sides.
You generally get relaxed. I mean, there's nothing you can do. When it's out of your hands, it's out of your hands. And you just feel like, okay, I'm relaxed. You take calls from your office. Some courthouses, you can go to your office across the street or down the street on telephone call. These lawyers are generally around here, but not always. Amendola's gone to his office. So you're relaxed at this point. You really try not to think about it. You've done everything you can do. That's all you do as a lawyer. You try to do everything you can do, and then that's it.
There you have it. Always great stuff. Good expertise there, Jeff. And he just nailed it. It's in the jury's hands now, and we continue to wait. Jury continues to deliberate. We're going to keep you updated throughout the afternoon here on HLN.